Hello, everybody. Hello, Kristen. How are you? Everyone, welcome to Saber Rattle episode 95. We have some really cool stuff in store for you tonight. We're having some technical difficulties where our dear Ark could not hear anyone in the stream, so he's trying to get that sorted out. But I'm going to go ahead and get you started with some really cool news. Hello, William. How are you? Thank you for coming in and joining us. Here's some cool news in general. Like you guys, I'm pretty new, so you don't know a whole lot about me. So one thing I do is I do some digital art. And I had an interview a while back to do images. Hi, Ryan. Hi, Steve. I had an interview to do images for a book being published, and I just heard back last week, and I got the job. So that's really cool. Like that's, I'm going to be drawing something that's going to be published, and that's pretty cool. So I'm excited about that. So other really cool news that I have found out this last week to talk to you guys about is, first of all, the Kenobi trailer came out, the newest Kenobi trailer, and it was really cool, and I'm very excited. I need to shrink myself. I wasn't expecting to. There you go. Hi, everybody. I think it's really exciting. I'm looking really forward to the trailer. Metso, a new Jedi. Welcome to the Jedi Academy. Thank you, Ryan, very, very much. So hello, gosh, there's so many people. Hello, everybody. Very excited to be here tonight. So, so the Kenobi trailer came out, which is really, really, really exciting. I'm actually really looking forward to it. And so if you have not seen it, there's a link in the chat for you to watch it after the show. And there's also a really, really cool article that I found that talks about the highlights of the Kenobi trailer. I'm also going to link that as well. I think they might be in the description that you can check out after the fact as well. Excuse me for, I just ate. It was Mother's Day. I am pumped for Obi-Wan as well, Kristen. You think it's unnecessary, so leaving the show itself, Ryan? It definitely could feel that way. All right, so, I'm excited because I love Ewan McGregor's work. I like his stuff, so I'm very excited. Thank you, Belle. Yes, it is Mother's Day today. I am a mother of 2 young boys who are nerds just like me. So that was one really cool bit of news that I felt was happening. Next, the Empire had an interview with Taika Waititi, who we all know is the director of many Marvel movies and whatnot. And this is a new image that they got for Thor. I mean, I love you, Chris Hemsworth, but I look at Natalie Portman's arms. I gotta admire. I gotta appreciate that. You met Ewan years ago, Steve. That was probably really cool. Pretty much, Ryan. It pretty much just seems what he did. Yes, Bella. Boy mom. # boy mom. Also, guys, one thing that's really cool is we hit 500 subscribers last week. So guess what happens tonight? We are doing a Saber giveaways. Later tonight. So it's very, very exciting. All right. So that was two really cool news that I wanted to give you guys. Also, if you'd like to, here is the article that Empire published on their interview with Taika Waititi. You're looking forward to the Obi-Wan Disney Plus show? Yeah, me too. I'm looking forward. Why does Thor get a sequel and yet Hulk can't get one at Universal? That's a good question. It's a good question. We're asking the important questions. Yeah, you can get an awesome Saber like Belle did. Belle got one. Was it 2 weeks ago or a week ago that you got it? My brain's having trouble remembering the weeks. It's only my 3rd one. Tex-Mex food? Is that what you mean? That sounds tasty. So anyway, so those are some of the new information. That's just some new information that I found out about the show itself. Not the show, but the news that we have going on. Oh, tech issues. TECH, sorry. Which, that's a good question, Steven. I'm not 100% certain because I usually, our fearless leader, is the one that has the Saber itself. And we're having some technical issues where he's unable to here in the broadcast. So I told him to try restarting his computer to see if that would help. I don't think it did. Anyway, so I'm going to play for you guys, though, the flow of the show, right? That is really, really cool. And this is actually a group of people that want to raise some interesting awareness about. Yes, I will be singing at the giveaway tonight. I have SpongeBob SquarePants ready on the side to sing for you. And I'm a little nervous because I haven't really sung it for people in ages. Sony shares profits with Spider-Man. Hulk deserves a sequel. I'd love for Hulk to have a sequel. His armor does look cool, doesn't it? I think it looks really, really cool. Hi, Denise. Hi, Belle. All right, guys. Probably connection users. It's possible. I mean, we could see him, and I could hear him just fine. He couldn't hear us. So it was kind of, and we haven't had that problem since I've started, at least. And it's only been a couple of weeks, but we hadn't had that problem. We did some troubleshooting, but he kind of hopped on and just wasn't able to hear anything. So I'm going to play the flow of the show for you guys, so you can guys check out really cool stuff. So here it is. That was cool.
Wow.
So if you guys at home want to check out their page, the link that I just posted in the chat takes you to that video, and you can find out more information on their YouTube page. Ark, thank you. I'm glad you're here.
Here I come to save the day.
So we talked a little bit. I talked a little bit with the chat about Kenobi. Are you excited for it? Have you seen the new trailer?
Dude, are you? You're asking me if I'm excited for Kenobi,
Okay.
dude? I am one of the people
should have known. I should
20
have known
years
better.
for this. You know what's kind of cool? It's going to be 6 one-hour episodes, right? That's like 3 Kenobi movies.
Yeah.
What more can you ask for?
Yeah, I'm really excited because I love his stuff. Now, did you see the Thor image?
I did with all buffed out Natalie Portman.
She looks. I mean, you gotta appreciate those arms. I'm looking at her
Man.
arms like you know. Okay, I'm more excited about that than like seeing Chris Hemsworth's arms. That's just me. Jim Muscatello said Van shouldn't sing. Yes, Van made it very exciting.
Yeah. Oh, Ezra's fixing my audio. We're doing something right now.
Okay, cool. Also, if you guys, let's see, do I have it?
How's that audio?
Okay. Yeah, I'm also, if in the nerdy news, is as many people know, Multiverse of Madness came out this last week, and no spoilers. I did see it last night.
I did. Yes, I actually went with my kid too.
Okay. I very much enjoyed it.
Yes. I'm hearing kind of. I guess there was a lot of a lot of praise at the beginning, and then now that some people have seen it, some the people that didn't get to see it early, there's been a little bit of mixed reviews. I think it's a very different Marvel movie than what maybe people are expecting.
I think part of it has to do with Sam Raimi throwing in some horror aspects in there. So some people are definitely not used to it. It's a little bit grittier in that aspect. And I loved all the Evil Dead and Drag Me From Hell throwbacks. And that's the most that I'm not going to do any spoilers. I'm not going to talk anything about the plot except that I really did enjoy the movie. It's probably third on my list of Marvel movies. Because
it's definitely different.
Endgame and Spider-Man just kind of are up there for me.
Right.
Anyway, so
we're not going to give anything away. I see a lot of people in fact, do we have a way to get the comments to flow through? There's so many people talking on the boards right now. I love seeing them on the show too when everybody's talking. I am sorry for being late, dude. I am not a technical nerd. I am so bad at this.
Well, you got it. At least you can hear us, and I can hear you, and you got that. So we're doing just fine. Now, next we have our guest. Do you want to talk a little bit about that, Ben?
Yes, and I was watching online too. I had seen somebody was asking about the Saber giveaway tonight, and I actually, unless it's something you want to do while we're on break, I pulled up a photo, so I got to figure out how to get that photo to you.
Just send it to me on Facebook Messenger, and I will get it on real quick. And I'll do it while you're.
Well, we'll do that at the end of the show, but at least you'll have it set up for the end.
Yeah, I'll just set up when you're in the interview. So
yeah, woohoo! All right, so I am very excited about tonight. I'm usually we are very fortunate to have an incredible guest. But this guest is somebody who has been on the show before. And when we first started the show, we did it during the time of COVID. It was in response to COVID. We started the show so people would remember who Kyber Cave was when they couldn't come into our shop. And at the time, we had Gary Ripper was also a host on the show. So one week I would host, the next week Gary would host, and we'd find all different kinds of people. This is someone that Gary brought in, and I was so excited to hear this interview. I personally am excited to hear about the things that are happening right now. This man, for those that you do not know, is very widely known, not only throughout the United States, but in the world. He runs an organization called the Saber Legion. Some of y'all out there may recognize that name. If you don't, you might have seen him on Good Morning America. A couple of years ago, there was a huge explosion. And so Saber Legion, now that we are coming out of quarantine, they've got all kinds of tournaments and everything going on all over the country. And I'm really excited to hear about what's going to be happening. Woohoo! In the future. Mm-hmm. So with no further ado, please give it up for Mr. Charley Cummings. Hello, hello. Can you hear me, Charlie? Oh no! Wait, am I having audio problems? Not again. I can't hear you. Hey, Mez, are you able to hear me? Okay, you can hear me. Can you hear Charlie? Okay, Charlie, you are having mic issues. Hello. All right. I
think he's signing out and back in to see if that will work.
Right. Hey, Mezzo, is there a way the comments that everybody's doing on the side? Is there a way we can just have those pop up on screen?
They're on screen for me.
Oh, they are. Oh, I
can see like Williams is below you right now. Says I hear you, Van, on my screen.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to add him back in and see.
Yeah, it's only when I think when you actually have to hit them unless there's a control setting.
Yeah, I
How about, can you guys get me now?
Yay! All there we go. How you doing?
Good. Sorry, I had to switch up from a phone to a laptop real quick. So sorry about that.
Man, tonight's one of those nights, all kinds of technical issues, right?
Exactly. Well, adapt and overcome, right? That's the whole nature of the business, right?
Hey, what a great transition. How that's done like a professional. So I am excited to hear. I'm seeing all these, on Facebook. I'm seeing competitions happening in different parts of the country. You guys are getting over COVID and getting back out there, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. We are. It has been on. Really, it started about last year. Last year, we were able to do our annual tournament in July. Combat Con, which is the host organization where we're able to do it in Las Vegas, at the time had a vaccination mandate on it.
Right.
So all the fighters that were there, they felt it was the best way to be able to allow them to kind of have everybody there at the time, right? That is now something that is no longer a requirement on it, and it's basically, and since then, it's really been kind of back on, right? Trying to make sure that we do everything is keeping up to date with what the CDC says,
right.
the WHO, all of those types of things, making sure that we're doing it safely, right? But I think what's been able to be shown over the long term of this pandemic is as long as you adhere to the things, you be safe, you can reopen, you can do it. And so, yeah, we're full on. As a matter of fact, we've got a full slate of events. Really, we've already had three, almost four big events already this year.
Right.
We've got another big one, obviously our annual tournament coming up in July,
right.
in which will be TSL 6, along with Combat Con, the 25th through the 20th through the 25th of July, or
right.
the 24th rather. And we have 7 tournaments over the course of the weekend. So we
it seems like as soon as the CDC said, okay, you can come out of your houses now, like all the TSL guys just jumped as soon as they could to any competition they could. You guys were like ready to go.
It's a lot of us spent a lot of time cooped up in our basements, just ready to get out, wanting to hit somebody or something, right?
Right. Now, how many different what do you call them? Do you call them chapters, or what do you call different groups around?
Yeah, absolutely. We call them charters. So
charters,
us, right? So we have a state. Usually it's by state, right? So we have state charters. We have 42 active states. We have almost 10. We have 10 active countries. So we're in different countries. As a matter of fact, COVID actually helped as far as the recruiting aspect. We were able to add 6 countries. And again, these are active ones. Usually what it is we'll end up, basically TSL is really, it's a platform, right? We're a fighting platform. So people can be, you can do whatever type of saber that you want, right? We're just another rule set in a big organization that's got it. But so you can be part of the organization, or you can just fight in the rule set of it, right? And also be part of the community, so to speak, right? So in this case, what we would do is we would go out and we would find people that had schools or organizations that either are, you know, a martial discipline where either they have, you know, a bladed weapon or a stick, and all you do is substitute an expensive flashlight, and you got what we do, right? And so you can get these ready-made, like TSL Australia, right? We had basically, it's like almost a mixture of like a Kali group, you know, with the Filipino stick fighting, right? Sort of that in combination with a couple of other things, and they're already like 30 guys, right? Like 30 members immediately.
Wow.
So you start with it, and you're already hitting the ground, right? Our charter rep for Mexico, who's also on the leadership council, Gabriel, he basically was able, you know, because of working through language barriers, right? So he brought on TSL Chile, Colombia, Brazil, Argentina, and Peru, right? So
wow,
another group of again, all the way through. And again, it's the same love is all over, right?
How are they? Are they seeing videos of what's happening here in the United States at different charters that you have, and then, you know, contacting you and wanting to grow it, you know, in their places? How is it expanding beyond the borders like that so much?
Yeah, and that you're totally that's exactly it. And in this case, I'll be honest, with the exception of, you know, Argentina, right? Because they speak, you know, or Brazil rather, because they speak Portuguese, right? The rest of them are all Spanish speaking, right? And so Gabriel, our charter rep, was literally able to like break down. There was no language barrier, right? So it wasn't somebody trying to, you know, and it's not to say that you have to speak English or anything like that, right? It just was an easy way for us to kind of quick go through those doors and things like that. Really, the whole idea behind the Saber Legion is any area that we've got where you've got three or more members. If we don't have a charter, all it takes is 3 or more members that are ready to do it. And you can start something up and you can just grow. And so it happens, countries, states, you know, anywhere where we don't have it too. We try to expand too, because it is really just about growing the community and, you know, getting more people to fight with glow sticks, right? With LED combat sabers.
Now, I mean, obviously, you know, the influence of Star Wars, you know, has been around for a long time. It's obviously a global phenomenon, but the tool of having a lightsaber to use as a combat saber, as opposed to, because obviously you're not using, you know, the Black Series lightsabers. You have, you know, combat sabers, and I'm saying this primarily for people who may not be familiar with Saber Legion. But these sabers that they have are specifically meant for fighting with. They're not, you know, they're not like Galaxy Edge toys.
Right. Yeah. Basically, I mean, sorry, I didn't mean to jump on there. But basically, the blades that we all use are polycarbonate plastic, right? I mean, pretty much the same thing that you'll find even on a Galaxy's Edge blade. But those are going to be string lights, you know, or the LED pixel lights, which, by the way, we get into that too. But our blades are much thicker. You know, they're considered thick wall blades. So there's a little less of a bend to them,
right?
Even though you are going to have that flex, right? And the hilts are all made out of aircraft aluminum. So basically, you've got something that is very durable, that is made to be able to literally hit somebody. And years ago, you know, the initial makers that came out that said, you know, we've got these combat sabers, our founders basically put it to the test, and they said, okay, you know, let's do that. So they geared up with hockey pads, lacrosse gear. You know, now we've moved on to, you know, we've got fencing gear, we've got, you know, kendo gear, we've got basically anything that's out there. And with the advent of Kydex, right, which is the formable plastic, people are augmenting and making their own armor. I mean, obviously everything's got to reach particular requirements, you know, minimum safety requirements, things like that, and pass inspection. But the you know, the world is your oyster when it comes to that gear as well. And by the way, this is also, and to kind of segue back into what we were talking about before, a sort of a barrier thing that we're working through with in essence the South American countries that like I mentioned just were coming on. Well, guess what? They don't have a Dick's Sporting Goods, or they don't have a Play It Again Sporting Goods, right?
Right.
They don't have where they can go in and go grab a cheap set of used hockey gear, right?
Right.
That doesn't, and that's not to say that, you know, that sort of infrastructure doesn't exist out there, but it's a lot different, and the price points are a lot different. It's even problematic for us to, let's say we're going to have a gear drive, and we're going to send a bunch of gear down to one of them. It gets really problematic on that. Like I said, and so another thing that Gabe is doing is he's working with them as well, working with our sports management team to try to augment our armor standards, right? So that they can basically build their own armor that's safe, that will meet our minimum requirements, that isn't necessarily the Nike or the Bauer hockey, shoulder pads types of things.
Right. It's got to be able to protect you.
Yes. Yeah, correct.
What about the sabers themselves? Are they, I mean, in these countries, are they readily available, or are they making their own sabers, or what are they doing about the blades?
Yep. So the blades are pretty standard, right? And there are saber makers, right, that are within the same countries that are doing it. And so we're also making sure that's another piece of working with the local saber makers on it too, right? Because the one thing is that we really are building, we say an international, combat organization, right? We are an international organization. That doesn't mean that we're all Americans that have American rules and American sponsors, right? And if you're from another country, you have to come in and abide by us, right? So we're trying to make it as much as we can, which is really, and I keep talking about Gabriel on this, but I'm going to mention him again on this one, because part of what he does is he is on our leadership council, and we have a number of different teams that are headed by different people. We have, one that's sports management, one that's marketing and, and media. We have one that's just administration, right? And different ones. We have one that's community. He's on specifically for international, so that we don't get myopic in our view, right? And just think, well, it's America. That's the only thing, it's what everybody's
how we
got
do
these
it.
rules, right? And exactly. So he's there to kind of always remind us, hey, there's other people, there's other countries. Make sure you're thinking about it. And so that's really part of who we are and what we're trying to do and what we're trying to really build here as well.
Right. Now, you are the president of the Saber Legion now, but that hasn't always been the case, right? I mean, the Saber Legion goes back before you.
Yeah, basically I started about 6 months after the Saber Legion, kind of officially got off the ground. I was like a lot of people, I had gotten the Ultra Sabers Facebook ad, and I was like, oh, I got to get one of these, and then I got it, and it's the gateway drug, right? So you start with there, and then I was like, well, I got this expensive flashlight, what am I going to do with it, right? And so, one of the things, because you were having the flow, I mean, by the way, that the flow video beforehand, right? Who doesn't love watching a good flow, right?
We do. That's why we do it every week.
Yeah. So I initially tried to get into that, right? And I started looking at it, and I was, and I remember watching my YouTube videos and working really hard to try to get that Obi-Wan so I could get that armor, all those types of things. But then I saw an article for the Saber Legion. It was a really local publication, and it was just like the clouds parted, and just, it was like, oh my goodness, this is my whole life has been leading up to this point. I had done fencing when I was, really early on, like at 13 years old. I had done, while it doesn't equate to really what we do now, but I had done Ii-Jitsu, which is the Japanese quick draw. So I was familiar with holding on, the balance and how you work with the katana, right? And so there was that. A huge love of Star Wars. I played a little bit of lacrosse in college. I'm from Minnesota, the state of hockey, right? So I played. So I even had all of my own equipment, right?
Right. The hockey gear was already half the problem.
Yeah, exactly. So I just showed up, and it was just one of those things. It was like, oh my, this is my people. This is the thing.
Right.
And it just grew from there. I ended up being probably within about 6 months of being in it. I ended up being the charter rep for Minnesota. A lot of it had to do with, because of course we started in Minnesota, right? And I knew the owners and the founders, right, as part of it, right? So
Right.
Terry Birnbaum and Josh Linden are the two guys that started it basically and founded it.
Right.
And I came along and then ended up just being a part owner with those guys for a while. And then Josh moved on, and then Terry ended up moving on, and I'm the guy left holding the bag.
Right. It often happens that way.
Yep.
Right. So wait. So I apologize. I know you said it, but what year did it start then again?
So we started basically in at the fall of 2015.
2015.
Yeah. Just around A Force Awakens, right? So I mean, it's no real. That's exactly right. And of course. So the movies, have always been such a boon for us, right? Because they would come out and they would be like, well, here's the news will be like, well, here's an interesting story. People, let's be honest. That's how I got to be on Good Morning America, right? I got to be on it because they were like, well, here's an interesting story and things like that. So that's always our way in on that. And then, but hey, once we get somebody, our people, right? And I'm talking to you, right? Our people, it's all of our people, right? The people watching this show are our people. Once you get hooked, oh man. I mean, let's be honest. We have all played, with a pretend lightsaber, right? Whether it's the empty packaging, the roll of
Christmas
paper, exactly, right? That type of thing.
A broom.
Yep. And so what I always tell people is the hook to it is, sure, we've always, and even when you got the plastic ones or even the ones now, right? What you want to do is you want to hit blade. You want to watch out because you don't want to hit your friend's hands. You don't want to hit your friend in the head, that type of thing. Now imagine the freedom
of getting to hit your friend in the head.
Exactly, right? You're doing it safely. You're doing it under control, but you're hitting them in the head and you're letting them know, or you're letting her know, right?
Right.
So it is, and the other thing that is amazing to see is because, sure, we have, and I will say this, as we're getting more and more people involved, the level of competition, as you can imagine, is going up. Every year it goes up exponentially, right? We get some people that are, we have our first member who is writing a book basically on combat style for an LED Saber in the TSL rule set, right? And it's because it's now taking it to that next level, right? So we're always going to get that. But the reason that I brought it up is because the favorite part to me is those people that grew up. I mean, let's be honest. I'm a nerd. I grew up not playing. I mean, I played some sports, but I was never very good at it. I was always the kid, on the sidelines, or the little league coach would lean into me and go, "Get a walk." Right. So I have to sit there with the bat on my shoulders and hope to not strike out. Right. So, but once you get all of these people that get to this level of competition, and again, the competition is secondary to the organization, right, and to the relationships that you make here, but it does exist, and you get these people that are all of a sudden tapped into something that they had no idea that was there, and it is so much fun to watch. Right, like one of my favorite stories was a woman, Kristen, who basically just she calls herself a yoga mom, and next thing you know, you put this in her hand, you put a LED Saber in her hand and armor on, and she was fierce, man. She is, no, don't cut her any slack or give her any quarter, because none will be given to you. Right. So, and again, obviously everything under control and with safety. Because we're not swinging baseball bats out here. We're not swinging for the fences. And that, by the way, that's the other reason why it's really good for the sport. Why strength or, gender doesn't necessarily play into it. because this isn't HEMA, right? I don't have a two-handed Zweihander that I've got to cleave you from here to here, right? All I got to do is touch you, right? Is tap you with it. The precedent, I always use this. The precedent was set in Attack of the Clones when Dooku strikes Obi-Wan, right? When he gets him twice, and they're the tiniest touch, and Obi-Wan's like, oh, and he's down, right? So again, you don't have to cut everybody's limb off every time, right? You don't have to do that. That's why our particular style is, first touch for the most part.
Right. So now, when would you say, so it started back in 2015, and why I kind of snickered at that the last week we had a gentleman who runs the Phoenix Saber Academy, so he has like a dojo out in Phoenix, and it started right around Alan, and it started right around 2015, and I was saying when I talked to a lot of different guests, especially dojos, it seemed like 2015 was the magic number where everybody decided, I want to start my own academy, or I want to go out in the park and beat up my friends over here. And I guess it makes sense with The Force Awakens.
Yep. I mean, that and I'll be honest, I didn't see up until Ultra Sabers bombarded me on Facebook with the ads all the time. I had never seen that before. Right. And then it's like once you scratch that itch, all of a sudden it's like next thing you know, my feed is just blowing up with every saber maker, every and things like that, right? But that first one, once it takes, and then you realize Pandora's box, you open that up and you're able to go through. And again, there has been, in my time in the Saber community, which is now going on 7 years, right? Almost into 8 years. I have seen a world of change, right? And just not only just from the technology, which you can every couple of years, where you go from, to something like a crystal focus that, the type of technical ability that can, I also started, and I taught myself basically, or I watched all the custom saber shop videos and the Mad Cow, the Rob Petcow videos to learn how to do all my own installs, right? So I take it to that Jedi thing one step further, right? So if I fight with my own types of things for the most part, and things like that. So again, it's opening up, it's giving you're letting your nerd flag fly free, right? Right. So 2015, open the door. And I also say this is if I had a catchphrase, this would be my catchphrase. It's the golden age of nerds. Yes. Right now. It is so awesome. I mean, I'm 50 years old,
it's
right?
Chic to be geek.
Yeah, totally. I'm 50 years old. You had to hide that down deep, right? I might have seen Star Wars once. I tell people, little did they know that, every time I had an opportunity, I would go see it in the movie theater, right? And I must have saw it between 20 and 30 times when I was, but now, man, now it's the opposite, right? I'm a Minnesota Vikings born and bred fan, right? So I've had season tickets for 23 years to the Vikings. I gotta hide that around people, right? They're like, "What? You like sports ball?" And it's like, "Oh, no, so only sort of." It's fun how things have gone full circle, right?
Right. The time of the geeks has arrived.
For sure.
It's like that movie, the 80s movie Revenge of the Nerds. This is our time.
Well, yeah, and it didn't even have to be that way, right? I mean, or it's not even an upheaval, right? It's just everybody is just the ability to let people enjoy what they want to enjoy is right. It's why that ever became an issue, or what it is. I don't know, but I'm glad that is. And the other thing is too, by and large, as a community, because everybody has this and have been marginalized or have had issues with this setting in, the people are all super awesome, right? And so the community in and of itself is such a welcoming and opening community.
Right.
Our tagline. I mean, united through Sabers, right? I mean, it really is, and we really really strive to do that. And it's not just something that we say. You know, we pretty much try to walk the walk and live that.
Right, right. Well, it's absolutely amazing to see the growth of TSL and how people have brought it on and taken it on. I want to know, how has okay, it's starting in Minnesota. Obviously, it's spread, but now having the influence of other countries, how has that affected the TSL? I know you were saying, it's not just the American way of doing it. Have there been other things that have been brought up by other people, in France or Australia or something, that you've had to stop and maybe consider your rules or rethink things?
Yeah, totally. There's been a couple of instances where it's been like that. Like I mentioned earlier about the South American countries and sort of augmenting our armor requirements, right, and the way that we do that, because we have to make it accessible to everybody. And like I said, there's not a Dick's Sporting Goods or something like that they could can go to as easily, or that stuff is readily available. The other thing too is the great thing about TSL is that we are, while we might have been around for 6 or 7 years, 7 years at this point, we haven't been around as long as some of the other groups or things like that. But we recognize that, and we recognize that our rules are still ever changing, right? Mm-hmm. And so it doesn't matter if something comes from internal, external, where it comes. If we see something that's going to make it more safe or more fun that we can do, we're going to do that. Now, part of what's inhibited us, at least from an international standpoint, from the last couple of years because of COVID, is the travel restrictions, right? While we've been able to recruit other people, it's been darn near impossible. For example, in 2019, we had 3 fighters from Mexico that were able to come to our tournament, to our annual tournament, right? Making it an international tournament, right?
Right.
You can actually say that. They haven't been able to come back, right? Because of restrictions that have been going on with that. So that's something that we're hoping can open up. But long story short, I guess, or long answer, yes, we really do look to that. And as people bring things to the table, we obviously look at it. One of the things that you mentioned, France, that's been a big thing, has been their fighting style, right? That TPLA helped work on and help them sort of develop that rule set. Right. We have something not quite like that because it's not weighted in the fact that the different targets are, but we do have a continuous fighting style or set that we have, and it's something else that we're, again, always evolving, always doing it. It's why we have 7 different tournaments that we have during our big annual tournament, right? We have the standard, we have a women's tournament, we have a masters tournament, over 50. Now that I'm in the category, we're going to change that from over 50 to masters. So we have a tag team, right? So we've got 2. Yep, that's a fun one. We have we have 2 exotics. Mm. So normally our exotics are always, I'll be honest, a pike almost always wins, right?
Right.
The long and the short of it is, it's a long weapon. It's
why
it's the most used weapon on the battlefield that you would find in any sort of historic times, in any era, in any type of combat, right? If you've got something that you can keep somebody 6 or 7 feet away, it's going to make them a hard target. Well, right. We've instituted what we call exotics light and exotics heavy. So exotics heavy will be the long pikes, the long cross guards, the long saber staffs, the sort of long weapons that we have. And then we have a light exotics, which will be the shorter, the dual wielders, much more what people might consider nimble, agile, that type of thing, right? Speed-based. Yeah, exactly. So you've got the 2 different ones. And then the other reason that I brought this all up in the first place is we also then on Sunday, we have a Unity tournament. And Unity is our rule set that's really a continuous action. So rather than first touch, and to be quite honest, a lot of what you saw, what got shown in the video to lead into this, into this segment, was from that Unity set, because it really does offer, dramatic movement, right?
Right.
And visuals with it, right? Is it really how combat would be? Probably not, but it offers that, right? And the idea behind it is that I would have to hit you and then get away before you have an opportunity to hit me back.
Right.
And that's the only way points are scored, type of thing.
Right.
And it goes in its, sorry.
When you actually get into it, though, it's kind of like it feels like being in a boxing fight, right? Like
100%.
You're just continuously going at it, and you're trying to get away, but this other guy's just wailing on you.
Yep.
It is a whole nother level. It's even just coming in, getting your 1 point, resetting. Even that, people would be surprised at how much exertion and how much body movement. You're not just standing there, side to side. You're using your arms and legs, and you might be, getting down low or jumping high. I think a lot of people are surprised because it just looks like maybe two guys coming at each other or two people coming at each other.
Right.
But there's a lot. You're using your breathing. So to do continuous battle like that Unity fight, that's a whole nother level to me.
Yeah, it is. I tell people, I'm glad you brought that up. That's the biggest thing. I mean, the cardio is king.
Right.
You need to be able to stay in the ring or stay on the mat to get better, right? And so most of the people, and so I mentioned before that we have people that are coming in with, we like to say we're the MMA of saber sports, right? So any background, you can be a, kendoka, you can, you practice kendo, you can be an escrimadore, right? The kali, right? Eskrima.
Right.
You could be a HEMA practitioner, you could do anything, or just have a love of Star Wars, right? It's whatever you bring from your background is what you bring in. But at the same time, you develop that. While like I mentioned, I have some things in my background, I have a complete unique style, and that's built on 6 years of fighting with an LED saber, right? With a 360-degree blade that all I have to do is touch you, and I work on particular taps, and it's different movements and things like that.
Right.
It's completely organic. That's made from me just figuring it out in the ring or in the practice mat, which is really what it's all about too. Because while we have all of these events and things like that, it's really the community too that really adds to it, because I love seeing these pockets that build up and these charters that we talked about before that really build up, because it's these communities and these like-minded people that hang out.
Really quickly, Matt had a question. I think I know the answer, but I could be wrong. Matt had a question here. He said, "What category do double-sided, double-blade sabers fall into, like Darth Maul or Dark Ray?" It seems like that would be the long exotic, right?
Yeah.
If I would guess.
Well, yes and no. So we have different blade lengths for it. So for example, once you get below a certain inches. Right.
Mm.
You can have a pike that can be used with one hand. So it's in essence a shorter pike. And the same goes for a smaller bladed double lightsaber. Right. So that, like the Darth Maul. However, the larger big ones, like the really big ones with that one would be in the larger category. So it really at that point it's what we're trying to do this year with the exotic lights is we're really trying to make the weapons be all around the same length, right? To now that we can really get a chance. Okay, if you say Jarkai or dual wielding, if you say you're really good with that, and the only reason is that you haven't been able to win is because you've been against a 7-foot pike. Well, here's your opportunity to really show that you've got the training and you could go do that, and maybe it is more dynamic and it's more fun to watch, or it's more fun to participate in. Put it that way.
Right. We are very fortunate here. I'm out in about an hour north of San Francisco, and we've actually had Alan Block on the show. And I've been fortunate enough to go out and meet Alan Block. Such a cool guy. But that man is absolutely ferocious.
Yeah, Alan's a really good friend, a really good competitor. As a matter of fact, and he's also one of the two people that helped develop the Unity rule set.
Right.
Too,
Yes.
on it. And he put a tournament on right up in your area, right at the Devonshire school up there. Our first Unity tournament that we had, and man, you want to talk about grueling, right? Fight like that in pools for a couple of hours, and then into the elimination brackets. That was a tough day for sure.
Oh man, I can't even imagine. And I think Alan was also one of the first people. I think he did a demonstration video about fighting with NeoPixels when everybody was really worried about, I would never take my NeoPixel into a battle. I think he did like a video or something.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he worked really closely too. One of the things you mentioned it before, right? Like the last time I was on, when I was on opportunity to kind of be on with Rip, right, with Gary Ripper,
Right.
Being in this, and at the time that I have been in this, I've been an opportunity to become really good friends with a lot of people in the Saber community, right? And getting in, and TSL would not be where we are without the help and the support of some of the big sponsors that we've had, right? Saber Forge immediately. Phil has always helped out with everything. I mean, he put it this way: he was our first champion, right? So,
oh wow,
so, yeah, which I don't know if you know, but Phil is like 6'5", 6'7", right? So he's the Iron Giant. So he was our first champion on it. Alan and Deanna from Vader's Vault have always been great. Dave from Electrum. So we basically have been able to build all of these relationships, right? And in this case, Alan Block, right, was able to work directly with Vader's Vault on some types of mods to that NeoPixel that you mentioned to be able to fight with. And they were able to do one of the first Bluetooths where they had the speaker hooked up to the overhead PA system.
Right. Yeah.
Vroom, vroom happening all around for the crowd and things like that. Right. So which, by the way, it brings up something that I mentioned earlier, and I'll reiterate. We're young, we're new, we're always trying new things, right? You can't become stagnant on anything. At the same time, we find something that works, we're going to stick with it. But always keep working, always keep, reinventing, because we are just, the sky's the limit in this organization, or in this field, or in this hobby.
Right. Now, let me ask you, what do you think separates the Saber Legion from other organizations like Lightspeed or Ludo Sport? There are other, you mentioned TPLA. There are other organizations, not that, one is better or anything. It almost seems like regional, like where you are, what just happens to be in your area seems to be the thing that flourishes most. But what do you think sets the Saber Legion apart, or why do you prefer it?
Sure. So for me, what initially was, and you're right, by the way, are we the first people to do it? Absolutely not. I think what has really been successful for us is really the way that we were able to work Facebook, the internet, when it first came out, right? We were able to really get our spread out there, really start being able to get to people. We also had a lot of content that was able to watch people. Our YouTube channel has had heavy people on there. We, one of our main fights that you mentioned with Alan Block is over 1.4 million views on a Champion League fight that he had, right, with Jimmy Surreal. So we've gotten some good exposure, and that's
I know even during quarantine, because we started this show, like as soon as quarantine hit, we had a storefront in Fairfield. So I had to close my store, and my store manager was like, well, we should do a podcast so people still, remember who we are. But I remember at that same time, just shortly after we started our show, TSL had, it was almost like their own channel. Like every night there was a different person. I want to say Mark C. He was Stand and Stab or something was the name of his show, but everybody had a different topic. It was almost like having your own network.
Yeah, as it was. That was Quarant TV. That was
right.
Quarant TV. We're still basically this. We're transitioning, and still we're doing. I believe it's TS Television is the next iteration, right? And actually, that's a good part. what that is that's also, part of this has been able to open up different venues for people to participate or to learn in different ways. Right. And that's also a community building. Right. So somebody like a Mark Carrico that's doing Stand and Stab, or David Laudenschlager, who is doing post and repost. Right. Not only were people learning from them, but they're also sort of kind of learning. And by the way, the more you could feel the people that were watching, you could start seeing the banter. I'm sure you get the same, right? Where some usual people will be commenting and you're like, yeah, yep, or friends will be commenting on it and things like that. Right. So we went from there and we're able to just kind of grow. It was just a natural offset of the next step in the organization, right? Which is the community aspect of it. What we really try to strive in that is you've got one charter in Minnesota, right? The feeling of that charter is the same one. When I went down to Alan's charter to the Phoenix school down there, and I fought some of those guys over Christmas because my in-law, my sister lives down there. That's the thing for me. I can now go to any place too, and I just bring my gear with, call them up, or basically, here's me old. This is, you can tell how old I am. Nobody gets calling up anymore. I just text them, right, and just say, hey, I'm going to be down, and they're like, awesome. We'll set something up, and we'll just get together, right? And so the reason is, I want the same feeling that you get from here over there, to be in Florida, to be in Maryland, to be in Arkansas, to be wherever, right? I mean, this is, and so that is one thing that we're not with your original question, where we're not regional on it, right? Now we'll still have that. Now, I mean, you're Northern California, Southern California, right? The San Diego area, they have like 6-7 good, real big Saber groups, and they all kind of, I don't want to say fight, but they all kind of have inner issues, right? And it's not to say that, and again, one is not better than the other. And if anything, I look at it, whereas you asked earlier, I want somebody to be able to participate in TSL, in Ludo Sport if they want, even though it's completely different for as far as the armor requirements and things like that, and even the fighting, or Lightspeed, right? Tony Zaluda, who wins a ton of championships. He is a big fighter and a friend of mine within TSL too, right? There is nothing. I've had a number of conversations with Kang, the owner of Lightspeed, right? Basically, we're just platforms. So for us, we're just a rule set, and for us, you've got to have a thick wall blade. For them, you can use a thin wall blade, and there's a little bit different from that. When you also mentioned some of the things that are like for as far as local schools, the local schools and things like that, they're also being a school, right? So this is an offering for them to be able to say, hey, you want to come in and learn this? Come in, you can pay us. You can come in here. We'll teach you this the same as we would teach you any other bladed weapon. But what TSL is now we're the platform that they can fight on. Right. So you can have. And so we've actually been working. I've been working a lot with Darth Nanimus from TPLA. Right. And about working together a lot more to where, I'm not going to let things out of the bag, but we're working on to where TPLA fighters will be able to fight within TSL at a tournament under their flag and things like that. Right. So that's kind of the next evolution of it. I look at it. If I were to have a goal for TSL and anything like that, it's, you look at a football. You can have a Nike football, you can have a Wilson, you can have a Spalding, you can have any kind of Reebok, any kind of football that's out there. But when it has that NFL logo on it, you know that it's the right size, the right proportions for that. The same for me is what I would look at for TSL. When you are a TSL, you know that it's heavy grade blade, it's heavy combat. This is the level that it's at. If you can stand up to TSL dueling, you know where it's at, type of thing.
So, I was thinking about it when you were talking about it originally, and you were talking about the other leagues. In my mind, I was associating it to being like a card player, right? Maybe I'm playing poker tonight, but I'm playing blackjack. You're still using the same kind of tools, but they're different rule sets and different games that you're playing. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I look at this too from the community standpoint. We all do better when we all do better, right? You can't. I can. It's only good for me if LS, if Lightspeed gets bigger. It's
Right.
better for TSL if some of these regional schools that have started, the Columbus Saber Academy, they get a group together, or you get some of these different ones that are starting to kind of pool these schools together. That's a
Right.
great thing, because
Right.
again, TSL is now just giving them the forum or the platform to be able to take their skills that they're learning in and come fight over here in one of our tournaments and be part of
Right.
this community. So it's a win-win.
Fantastic. Now let me ask you. I got two more questions for you. We're gonna get ready and wrap up here. I've had a fantastic time with you,
Yeah.
and I appreciate you taking time to talk to me and everybody else online tonight. They were going crazy on the side of it. I can't even keep up with the comments at this point. A lot of times, I know, what was it, roughly 3 years ago, France I guess, made lightsabering an official sport of that country. And there was a lot of speculation that sabering might be on its way towards the Olympics. Is that something that you can see TSL being part of, or do you think it would need a whole new rule set if it were to go, say, internationally, or would you want to adopt the, say, TSL as an Olympic sport?
Sure. So it's a really interesting idea, right? And quite frankly, the whole reason why France did it, right, is because they saw their classical Olympic bladed sports that decline, right? So people stopped paying attention to foils. People stopped learning about the epee or picking up a saber, and fighting with that. And so this was a way to kind of rejuvenate and bring that in, so you could still do those same bladed sports and also do this, and so basically kind of boost their numbers back up, and the participant level of activity, right?
Right, just getting kids off the couch.
Exactly, right. Fight the lethargy. But I look at our rule set as very straightforward, right? It's really simple. It's 1 point. If you hit the person, you don't get it, so it doesn't weigh on different things. There are targets, known targets, and and targets that aren't. Back of the head is not a target. The neck is not a target, right?
Right.
Your fingers are not a target. Those are easy to be able to tell. And so I think ours is very accessible, without having to learn about intent or where you're doing it or who had the right of way, those types of things. Now, that's not to say that there isn't a lot of merit, right? Because you can see they're really trying to get to the heart of the sport, right? I mean, like, and things like that. So I see, once we're able to kind of maybe develop that next, like you said, what is that rule set that's going to be? And then you start getting that participant level. People were immediately like, well, it's here. We're going to be in the Olympics right away. I mean, put it this way, not in my lifetime, right? If we did everything that we could, and I'm not saying that we wouldn't get there, it takes a lot of countries to develop their own programs in it to be able to do it, right? And so that's where we're really at. Like, while in the United States, we got it, right? We got a team. I'll put together I'll go, different Saber legions and different Saber leagues and everything like that. And I'll put together a pretty good dream team that we've got, right? Somebody else. But it doesn't mean that infrastructure is there yet for other countries. And and anybody that knows any Olympic sport knows that you have to have, I think it's something like at least 30 countries, I think, that have, or something like that have established programs. So we would need to get there. Definitely something to work for, because let's be honest, the mouse didn't pay all that money, and it's not slowing down on the Star Wars content anytime soon. So we're going to keep getting influx of more and more people. And it really is the most iconic weapon out there. I mean, there's the lightsaber is it, right? I mean, there isn't anything out there that people are like, wow, like, that's the coolest blaster I've ever seen. I mean, sure, there are, but it doesn't stand out this way, right? I mean, man, it captures everybody's imagination that first time Luke shoots that off in A New Hope, right? What is
Right.
that? Right, that is amazing. So yeah, that's we're just going to continue to grow in that way, and I think the more that we can reach out, the bigger
Right.
that it's just going to become.
All right, and lastly, I know our director is gonna she's put up earlier, and I know it's in our in the messages, but there's gonna be comments or links for people if they want to find out more about the Saber Legion. Those are gonna be up there. But I wanted to ask you, what do you see for the next couple of years? Well, actually, we'll go through that quickly. What do you see in the next couple of years for Saber Legion, and what would be any last words of advice you'd like to part out to people?
So the next couple of years, what I really see is us continue to grow. We, like you mentioned earlier, we did go through some changes within our leadership structure and things like that. And so I really look to see us solidify that and to be able to really put out our product and really make it accessible for anybody out there that has not been a part of it. Right. So, and what I mean by that is, any place where we're not yet, we have the turnkey ability to have anybody to be able to come in and really to be able to start their own charter and to be able to get it going and to capture that same feeling, and also to have a community that's there to support them and to have them be part of.
Right. Wonderful. And any last parting words of advice for young battlers out there?
Yeah, do it. Really.
Just do it.
My tag.
You're gonna get sued by Nike.
Yep. Nothing. Basically my mantra is there's nothing to it but to do it. Really.
Right.
You just got to get over it. And like I mentioned, a lot of us don't come from sports backgrounds. And so there is that initial leeriness of being able to do it. And I even say the same thing, right? I didn't start it. I came after they were going 6 months. I know what it was like to go to my first meet, right? Which is what we call them, right? The practices, the meet, and to be that unknown person, to be nervous, right? My heart's beating. Right. I don't know anybody, that type of thing. But you will never meet a better group of people, right? This is the people, right? The people watching
this is the group.
This is the community, right? I mean, this is an opportunity to get out there and do it.
Right. Hey, and I want to answer Matt's question really quickly, and if you have anything to add to it. We were talking about in around 2015, it just seemed like just little gyms and academies were popping up all over the country. Depending on where you are, Matt, there may be a school near you. Aiken Saber Academy is a fantastic school. And also too, if there's not something near you, there may be a Saber Legion group where it's not necessarily a school. Now, and that's actually something to cover really quickly, but we do want to wrap up. But he's asking about a 6-year-old. You guys, you have to be 16 to participate, right?
Yeah. So basically what we've got is we don't have a junior league yet. And obviously the children, I don't want to say children are our future, but they are, right? It's the lifeblood of any new organization is building that back up, especially when you capture that interest to like Star Wars. Star Wars was made for us when we were kids, right? It's not made for us being adults, even though I love it. And put it this way, I'd watch a movie about Obi-Wan Kenobi going to the grocery store, right? That's why the series is a no lose situation for me, right? I'm all in, right? So but we have to make sure that we're handling that level of safety on it, right? We are still working from as far as an organizational standpoint on insurance types of things, which really weighs into with the younger people. I would totally love to see that. What we usually do now is we allow people to come as long as they have a parent or guardian that is there with them while they are participating. The parent or guardian doesn't have to participate, right? It's not, but it's not.
They're going to sign the waiver.
Right. But at the same time, it's not daycare, right? You can't drop the kid off, come back 2 hours later, right? So in essence, they've got to be there, part of it. And we just literally, we bring them into this because, it's fun. And again, as I mentioned, you don't need that raw strength, right? So you can fight people. And I always do this too. Even though I'm a seasoned fighter and I've been fighting for a number of years and things like that, I still get a lot out of fighting people that aren't necessarily that seasoned yet, because I'm still working on something. Now, would it do me any good to just, I'm gonna be a total D and just house the person? No, absolutely not. Right. So instead, what I'll do is I'll work on particular things. I'm going to work on right here. I'm going to work to try to get on this. I'm going to work on this particular parry and repost on it. And so it allows all people of different abilities to fight together, and everybody gets something out of it.
Right. I was telling Alan last year, or last show, and I really got to go. I'm just having so much fun talking to you, I can't get off. But anyways, when we went out to Lake Havasu, we were at Gary Ripper's compound, and Kyber Cave had come out to fight. There was a couple of Arizona groups that had come together. So there was about 10 or 12 different fighters that were at the Ripper Blade backyard, basically. And Gary had invited the local public access to come out, and they were used to doing like high school soccer games and little kids football and all that stuff. And they were just absolutely amazed at how much sportsmanship there was. They were saying, they were like, oh my God, we came out here expecting to see people beating each other up. And, everybody's asking, are they okay? And they're saying good honor, and, they're respecting each other. And there's, men fighting women. We had one gentleman that was in a wheelchair who was able to fight. We had children who were able to fight in our competition. So they were just amazed that, such a violent, brutal sport, but we were very, much more even. They were saying that, you go to soccer games and parents are cursing out coaches and stuff, but here, they're hitting each other in the head and then asking if they're okay.
Yep. It really is. It is about that. Like the competition is big, but it really is about that community, and to not sort of over dramatize it or to over romanticize it, but really fighting somebody else, sparring somebody else is really the most intimate, non-physical thing that two people can do, right? I mean, you're in that person's head, you're dancing, right? You're trying to figure, and the older you get, like once you start getting into my age, I'm fighting people 20, 30 years younger than me. I've got to really do my work up here to figure them out before I get an opportunity.
Wow. Man, it is an amazing thing. I cannot wait to see all these competitions, and make sure to check out, Saber Legion's everywhere. And I know there's tons of information on the net and on Facebook, but it is very likely that there's competitions happening very near wherever you live on the planet. Now it sounds like not just in the United States, but on the planet, there might be a Saber Legion group near you. So make sure you go check them out. There's going to be information down below as to how you can reach the Saber Legion if you want to see if there's a chapter near you, or maybe you want to start your own chapter.
Yep. And I gotta give a couple of quick plugs then. Saber Legion, it's saberlegion.org, so saberlegion.org is the website. Again, we've got our annual tournament in July in Vegas. That'll all be online, right? So everything you can also watch online with all of that. So it'll all be streaming the 20th through the 24th of July. We'll have Bladetoberfest in September. That's a tournament in Wisconsin. We'll have Sun Crusher in November, which is a tournament in Florida, and fight. So it's like you said at the beginning, at the top of the show, it's on. So we got events that are happening and are going. So there is one near you, and if not, check us out online.
All right. Either go out to watch or go out to play, but make sure you go out there. Charley, Mr. Charley Cummings, thank you so much. I loved having you on. I appreciate all of the knowledge you have imparted on us tonight. And thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you. I had a lot of fun too. And united through Sabers, and get out and do it.
Woohoo! Red Blade for life. All right. We will talk to you later. Have a good night.
Thanks, Mark.
We'll be right back.
think that's how you're going to get out there with your saber and start busting up some heads?
I gotta get a saber first, yo.
Oh, wait. Is that what's stopping you right now? Like, if you had a saber, would you be like, woo?
I mean, I could bring one of my katanas.
Yeah. Wait, come on. We're not taking it all that serious.
If I had my own saber, I'd probably be, like it was the longest time I had never seen like a combat saber before.
Right.
And so, especially going to the saber battle last week at Fremont Park in Sacramento, I was kind of like, ooh, and holding my saber for the first time. And I was just kind of like, ooh,
right.
This is kind of nice.
You know what's so funny though? Like, I remember getting my very first saber, and I splurged and got the cool sound, and I got all the bells and whistles that I wanted. Definitely didn't get the top of the line saber, but I got all the bells and whistles that would keep me satisfied, because I was like, I'm gonna buy one saber and that's it. I'm just just one. That's all I need. It never works out that way.
I know, and I got Phoenix here in the chat saying I kicked her butt in the saber battle. I think that she's referring to me. And she goes, if only you worked for someone who sold sabers.
Ooh.
Well, William, you know where I can get one? Where can I get a saber?
And on that note, I would like to remind everybody, please visit kybercave.com. We have all kinds of sabers, great deals. We just got new shipments in. Like, literally, I was putting out inventory today. We've got cross guards on there now. I don't even know if those are up on the website.
Matt's like 5 sabers later.
Speaking of which, we did hit 500.
Yes.
You didn't do that at the top of the show, did you?
I talked about it, I think. I can't remember. But everybody, we hit 500, and we're almost halfway to the next one.
Woo! If we can get to 550 by next Sunday, we will be giving away another lightsaber. So we are giving away a saber tonight.
I have it ready to show.
Woohoo! Oh, you can show. You can show which one. We are giving away the Mandalore in gray. It looks very much like his Beskar armor.
Yeah, I love the T for his helmet. Like, it just looks
right. So when Mandalore comes back, you will be ready with your saber in hand. We are giving that away tonight. All you had to do was leave a comment anywhere here. You get an extra point if you leave a comment from YouTube, and yet another point if you leave a comment from Twitch. So you can have up to 3 entries for this show.
Also, a quick shout out, thank you to James Kaiser. I was a little bit flustered at the beginning with not being able to, you're not being on here, so I forgot to say thank you to James Kaiser for supplying the information on Flow the Show this week.
Darth Cephalus. Always, we are very, very fortunate to have him as a producer. We are lucky. And that was I came in at the right time, dude. That was such a cool segment. I can't wait to go back and rewatch all the stuff that I missed.
And to answer Stephen, yes, Stephen, the Mandalore is the saber that I want.
This is the saber that you're looking for.
I was just about to say it, and you took it from me. As if you want to tell the people about what we promised on the next giveaway.
What on the next one?
This one.
On the 500, right? Yes. I am so excited. So we let people know that Miss Mezzo, our new director, I put her on the spot like her very first show. I told her when we hit 500, she was going to have to sing the SpongeBob SquarePants theme song operatically.
Yes, and so while you were figuring out your issues earlier, Charley helped me test the sound to see if it would work. So it is ready, but we first do have Stephen. You saying you want another Mandalorian? And you laugh. Oh my lord! Okay, so we do have Kevin's Comic-Con Adventures.
Woohoo!
But James, Kevin. I get their names. Kevin Hogan.
Kevin Hogan is the cat.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you. Yes. So we do have his video to show, and then afterwards we'll get started on our giveaway. So guys, go ahead and enjoy this clip from Kevin.
Hello everyone, this is Kevin Hogan from Northern California with another episode of California Comic-Con Adventures. On April the 30th, we went to the G.I. Joe Toy Expo at the Nut Tree Airport in Vacaville. They converted one of the airport's hangars into a museum of foreign wars there. They have exhibits of full-size vehicles, like the original airplane from the Wright brothers there on display, a biplane there with the Jelly Belly Jelly Bean Factory logos all over there, plus all the military vehicles there, like helicopters, airplanes, armored personnel carriers, and more. And we also saw some celebrities there, like Alan Fernandez, the original custom player from the very first Star Wars movie was there, C. Andrew Nelson, Darth Vader from the Star Wars Special Edition movies, as well as Cooley Jackson, the White Power Ranger from Power Rangers Live was there, and of course our buddy R2-D2, the droid, was running around saying hi to everybody there. I myself was going around there as Marty McFly from Back to the Future. Plus we saw some cosplayers dressed up in the original uniforms there from World War I and World War II veterans there. Lots of vendors selling their action figures and original G.I. Joe figures there. It was really cool. If you're ever in the Vacaville area, definitely recommend checking it out there. Later on May the 1st, we went over to Ohana Comic-Con in San Leandro at their Veterans Hall. We saw lots of fun cosplayers there, such as the Predator, Demon Slayers, and some Star Trekkies there. I myself as the Lower Decks Tusken Cat Doctor there, walking around there hanging out. And it's definitely recommend going down to see Ohana when it comes to a town near you. Very affordable, get a chance to meet some friends there. And be sure to look forward to upcoming events later on there. For example, Powerhouse Comic-Con in Pleasanton on May 14th, as well as the Ohana Comic-Con Fresno Toy Comic-Con on May the 15th. And at the end of May, it's going to be the weekend of the 27th, is Fanime in San Jose. That's the big Comic-Con all weekend. Well, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the picks there, and see you guys out there the next Comic-Con.
Nice.
Wow, I like that nice little ending you added.
Yeah, I got all fancy.
A little bit of pizzazz there. Look at you go. Hey, I also want to remind people, don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube and on Twitch. We are at Kyber Cave Productions. And we have like Instagram pages now. We have I think we have a Discord that we don't really use. We have lots of social media
we're
things.
planning to get the Discord a little bit more used soon.
All right, she carries the brains of the operation. I just look pretty. That's all I do.
Yeah, you look so pretty, man.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, so man, have we done everything we need to do? I want to apologize to everybody again. We are running a little bit later than usual, and about all the technical difficulties at the beginning of the show, and it really was such a stupid little problem, but it's me, so it's to be expected.
You're like, I'm not technically literate, like
right.
literate.
I'm barely even literate.
I did what I could at the beginning by myself for only like my third show in. So
and you held it down.
It's a fun little challenge, just to kind of get out there and do that.
All right, see, you held it down. You didn't burn the place down. That's all that matters.
And you're right, Phoenix. There's always a problem. First week, I was like rushing to like get what I could ready, and then the second week, I don't remember if anything actually bad like didn't go quite right last week. I think it was okay.
No, I think it was good.
Yeah, I think it was fine. It did. I think the most pressure was figuring out the giveaway while you're interviewing on my first show.
Right.
But now I've got it ready. But should I sing first or after?
Should you what?
Sing first or after?
Ooh, I think you should sing first, and then we will get that wheel up there that people can see their names. And then
it's not a wheel. It's
that's right. It's a
generator. It's the StreamYard giveaway thing. Their tool.
SpongeBob.
All right. So I have the video up here of like they're playing it, and I don't know. We might get muted just for this portion, which will survive.
Don't play the music. I think you can sing it a cappella and not get copyright restricted, right?
Me sing it a cappella. Oh my goodness gracious. I could actually mute the audio for you guys, and then I can still hear it and sing it for you.
See, there you go.
All right, are you guys gonna sing it with me?
Woohoo!
Oh, yeah,
Hell no.
Phoenix says sing during. I'm not sure if I could sing during. Okay, so I'm gonna hit play, and I guess I'm just gonna sing this thing a cappella. By the way, wording headphone earbud users. Okay.
Oh
okay.
yeah, I'm turning this mic down.
Here we go.
Volume down.
Aye, aye, Captain. I said, hear you. Aye, aye, Captain. Oh, who lives in a pineapple under the sea?
SquarePants.
Some yellow and poise is he.
SpongeBob SquarePants.
Nautical nonsense be something you wish.
Bob
You
SquarePants.
travel the deck and flop like a fish.
SpongeBob SquarePants.
SpongeBob SquarePants. SpongeBob SquarePants. SpongeBob SquarePants. SpongeBob SquarePants.
Yeah!
Oh,
We need a clap track. Oh, wow. That's quite a visual.
Yeah, I didn't realize that was going to come up at the end. Oh my
Yeah! All right, Bohemian Rhapsody at 550.
Jim says next year. Oh, yeah, I can bring you Bohemian Rhapsody. I was like, so Van got to hear a clip of that last week. So poor Van and his son had to hear clips of me on the way. I think it was on the way home from Saber Battle. Of me singing. Thank you, Stephen, very much. Of me singing. I was singing all these different things, and one of them was Bohemian Rhapsody. And it was the for me, and it was the big high note. And for me.
Veronica saying "Do Wonderwall." That's hella funny.
I will work on the next
Skinner,
one.
man.
I'll work on one for 600. I'll work on.
All right. Yeah, we got to have a new one every time we give away a Saber. We got to have a new song.
Yeah.
Rhonda says, "I'm awake. I'm awake." All right. I hope you're awake because it is that time. I think we've gotten through all of our official stuff, right?
We've got 39 entries.
Do we have TikToks tonight?
Yeah, they're ready for at the end.
You are on it.
Thank you, Saber Paul. You guys are so nice. And Saber Paul, I will not give up my day job, which is mostly being mom.
You're technically, you can't really give that one up whether you want to or not.
I will never want to give that one up. But I do other stuff on the side, but it's not like a 9-to-5 full-time kind of thing. I work from home most of the time.
Right. Until this takes over.
Steven, are you talking about you and I doing a duet? Or Van and I doing a duet?
Oh, hell no.
All right, so we are ready for the giveaway.
Woo, who wants to win a Saber?
All I have to do is hit this draw button right there. I don't know why it went southern something. All right, guys, here we go.
Everybody
3,
ready?
2, 1. Up. Oh, not Kyber Cave. Don't pick Kyber Cave. Up.
Ray!
Yay!
Raging Rose! Yay! I have no idea who that person is.
I'm not sure either, but congratulations! And also, as Fred says, at 1,000 subs, you get to sing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know what? That's actually, I have to say, that's actually kind of cool that we're getting to a point. Like, when we used to do the Saber competitions, we'd have, like, 10 people watching the show. It's like 3 people watching the show. So I always knew who won. Like, I either knew them personally or I knew them because they, were on the show. Now we're getting to the point where there's people I don't even know.
Yeah, that's exciting. So that we've got 18 people tuning in right now, and we had 39 entries, so we know how we had some people who did multiple entries across the platform. So that's exciting. Congratulations. I'm going to say Raging Rose.
Raging Rose.
Yeah.
Please message Kyber Cave Productions or Kyber Cave after this, and we will figure out your Saber. Just like always, the rules are you either have to pick the Saber up yourself or it is a $30 shipping fee wherever you are. And we have, once you show them one more time what beautiful Saber she's getting. Or he, I guess.
I will show
I'm assuming it's a she.
Right now.
The
Mandalore.
The Mandalore is coming to your house. All right.
I don't know why I made it sound like a ghost.
I know that was kind of a weird thing. All right, so
you know what? I'm not normal, and so because I'm weird, I'm not boring.
But that's the way we like it. We love you this way. So we will be actually this weekend, this Saturday, we will be in
Saber Paul made a really awesome offer right there. If anyone doesn't pay shipping, he will gladly do so to receive it himself, I think. That's what it was. I'll take one.
I want to remind everyone we're going to be at Powerhouse Comics this weekend. Mezzo will be with us, so you can come and say hi to Mezzo or myself, or even our fabulous shop manager, Steven, will be there as well.
This the weekend?
That's this weekend, yeah. You're going to be out, huh?
I can't go to that one.
Oh, I thought you were
going. No, it was the song. I apologize. I am taking part in a memorial service this Saturday.
Oh shit! No, sorry. Well, I guess that's obviously you got to handle your business. All right. Well, then I guess Steven didn't forget you. I didn't want.
I know. I'm sorry. It was stuff that I already had planned before I joined the channel. Yeah. So I'll be making a video and playing music for people at a memorial service. So.
Wow.
Oh, that's so sad. Why always bringing it up?
I know that. I'm not really sure how to end the show right now.
It's forever Goshke.
Please make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube, Twitch. Make sure to check out kybercave.com. We've got lots of great, not just Sabers, but Saber-related products like bottle openers and socks and earrings and all kinds of stuff. We will see you this weekend. And don't forget, we have a show for those of you that are 18 and over every Friday at 9 p.m. called Kyber Cave After Dark. Besides that, we will see you back here next Sunday at 7 p.m. Our guest, her name is Bex with Sacramento Geeks. So come check us out.
All right, guys. Have a great week. Bye. Happy
Good night.
Bye.